Hey everybody, Code9001 here once again with day 6 of my Zelda month. Now, see, I was going to try to get this up earlier, but see, YouTube was having a maintenance problem, and so now that's over with, let's get right down to it. Next game I'm talking about is Majora's Mask. Now, this is where my little word comes into play because, yes, I realize there was other Zelda games in between Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask, but I'm going by system, so don't even bother. So, Majora's Mask, it was a very different direction for the Zelda games because, I mean, yes, they kept with the traditional formula of going to dungeons, getting items in the dungeon, defeating a boss, and yeah, you gotta get a heart container. But here's the thing: there was only 4 dungeons total. So most of the heart containers you had to attain were for heart pieces. This is the one game that had the most amount of heart pieces in any Zelda game in the history. Well, then again, I think Twilight Princess came close because of the fact they had 5 heart pieces to make a heart container set up for the traditional 4. But that's beside the point. So, with Majora's Mask, it was very different. It was following the Young Link timeline, being the direct sequel to Ocarina of Time, where Link is off into the Lost Woods trying to find Navi, and he encounters Skull Kid, who speculations have said that this is the same Skull Kid from Ocarina of Time that you taught Sari a song to. And with this, Skull Kid having Majora's Mask on is a total dick to you, and he screws everything up, and you're supposed to restore the whole thing. But there's a catch: you have to time travel back to between 3 days. You only have 3 days to make everything right, and to make sure everything's happy-go-lucky before you take on Majora and all that. Now the thing is, with it being 3 days, some areas are not available to you, so you had to constantly go back and forth between the final day and the first day, so on and so forth. You can also speed up time or slow down time. Now, of course, with the first 3 cycle days, you get turned into a Deku, so and your Ocarina is stolen, so you can't really do anything to change time. And in fact, a lot of this stuff is not really available to you until the first time you try to take on Skull Kid and get your Ocarina back. But then you get healed by the Happy Mask Salesman after you play the song time for the first time, and you get human again and you get into the mask. It has a lot of dark elements in the game, more like for a mature audience kind of thing, even though it's an E-rated game. It's like, I think that next to Twilight Princess, Majora's Mask had to be like the closest thing to any Zelda game of being an M rating game, because it's just all the dark elements. And when you go to take on the final boss, which is Majora's Mask itself, not Skull Kid. Yeah, there's a spoiler plot for you if you haven't played the game already, I'm sorry. But for those of us that have, yeah, it's like you go to fight the mask itself, then it's reincarnated, but then Majora's Wrath. There's been speculation of what gender Majora really is. Some people believe that Majora is a guy, or in most cases. So a lot of text does say he, but however, in light of some evidence, and I use that term loosely, is that speculation of Majora being a girl, because if you look at Majora's Wrath, according to Chugga Conroy, you'll start to see some features that give it a hint of Majora being a woman. Now, I'm not so sure. I don't want to be on any side of that debate, because I will leave it up to you guys to whether you think Majora is a guy or a girl. Now, what I really want to see in the next Zelda installment is to tell the origins of how Majora came to be. Like, what was Majora initially, how evil he really was, and what ultimately stopped him and have him revert into this mask. Now, in Majora's Mask, when you go get the Fierce Deity mask, which is the mask you get for getting all the masks, like basically 100%ing the game up until that point, that's like your reward. And you go through all the moon dungeons, give all your masks away, you get the Fierce Deity mask right before you go to fight Majora. Now, and when the kid wearing the Majora's mask on the moon, when he gives you the Fierce Deity mask, he says like, it's like, okay, you're the bad guy. So there's been speculation saying that the Fierce Deity form, being that it was a spirit just like of an actual warrior, like all the other transformation masks that you've gotten, there's been reason to suspect that the Fierce Deity was a great hero of some kind who ultimately defeated Majora. So that's what I want to see in the next Zelda game, is seeing Fierce Deity, the Fierce Deity form, being playable and actually being what you have to do to ultimately defeat Majora in like an origin game for Majora, and actually have the final cutscene being him sealed away into the mask. Now, there's been a lot of theories when it comes to the Majora's Mask game. I don't want to get into them right now because I'm pretty sure some of you are going to bring it up anyway. But out of all those other games, I know I'm going to get a lot of hate comments from the fanboys who love Ocarina of Time so much. Honestly, I gotta say, my personal favorite has to be Majora's Mask out of all the 3D Zelda games, because it was just a really different direction, and I loved playing it as a kid. I really did. I mean, Ocarina of Time I had the most attachment to, however, didn't Majora's Mask just beat it by like maybe 1% at the very least. It was really that close for me. Well, I guess that's all I can say. And so tune in next time when we discuss, I guess, the Oracle games. Alright, see you guys then. And goodbye.